April showers bring May flowers and apparently a whole lot of line shading too. Join me this month as I push myself out of my comfort zone with some pen and ink illustrations. It's time for the May plan with me. Hey friends, welcome back. Thank you for being here and welcome to my journal for 2023. I've got a folklore theme going this year and I know a lot of you do too. We've been drawing lots of flowers, but we've also added a whole lot of animals and we're kind of focusing on some of those myths and lore that, I don't know, maybe get a little forgotten in our modern day world. For April, we did the ladybug and the kind of the luck of this cute little creature, and it just made for a really fun, easy illustration point for our April setup. Now for May, we're going to focus on a piece of folklore that I know you've heard before, and that is the little phrase, April showers bring May flowers. Yeah, that's folklore, all those funny little things that we say and believe. And what I want to do to illustrate this piece of lore is a pen and ink illustration that incorporates the rain and the flowers. So start with a little rectangle here in pencil and put the horizon sort of low, so at the 1/3 mark. And then we're going to do an illustration that incorporates the rain and the flowers. We're going to do lots of shading and cross-hatching, lots and lots of little lines. And so I'm putting some little tree and brush shapes on that horizon. And then I'm already starting to plan out my lines by putting all the grass. So the grass along the horizon is just like little pinpricks, little dots, but the blades of grass get longer as I come down here towards the foreground, to the bottom of my rectangle. I'm also incorporating a few floral shapes, just kind of messy circles in the field. It's going to be a meadow filled with flowers. And I guess I should say what we're actually drawing. I want to draw a woman standing in the field of flowers, holding an umbrella, holding some flowers, and then of course she's standing in the rain. So we've got this idea of April showers bring May flowers in an illustration, and we'll do all the little line shading for the rain up here at the top. Just a reminder that I give bonus content on Patreon, and channel patrons can print my cover page for use in your own journal. To join, it's only $2 a month or $22 for the year, so head over to patreon.com/Shayda Campbell and check it out. So let's sketch this lady. Begin with her head, oval shape right above the horizon, and then I'm just going to sketch her body, so sort of bust, hips. She's wearing an apron. I've got a reference photo here that is from Flickr. You can find this photo. I've linked to it in the video description. And we're sketching out her one arm that's going to cross her waist. We're going to put a big bouquet of flowers. She's wearing those great rubber boots. And I'm also going to be adding an umbrella, so we'll see how that goes. I don't really like going off reference photo, but I do think it's important she has her umbrella for those April showers. Let's give her some hair. We'll sketch out the oval for the umbrella, and I'm going to sort of draw the one boot, and the rest of her other leg will be obscured by the grass and the flowers. Yes, it's a little scary to draw like a field and rain and trees and brush and a woman and an umbrella, but you guys, you can do this. This is something that's new for me as well. I don't often do like these pen and ink illustrations, but I love the way they look. I love old storybooks that used this illustrative technique where it was just like a lot of line shading and cross hatching, if you know what I mean. And lately, I don't know, I've really been in a place of growth. It's a super uncomfortable place to find yourself, I think. I've been taking on a lot of new challenges in my art. I've been painting with acrylics, and then I got back into painting people. I used to draw and paint people a lot when I was younger, and it's a wonderful subject matter that's a little bit scary. So I'm doing that. I've also changed my hair recently, and there's a lot of stuff going on where I just keep pushing myself out of my comfort zone, and I don't know why I'm doing that, but here I am doing it for the plan with me. I was like halfway through this illustration, like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you just draw flowers with markers or something? But as I said, I love the way these illustrations look. I see lots of great ones online, especially when we go through challenges like Inktober, where a lot of illustrators are using fine liners to make incredible art. And so I wanted to try my hand at these illustrations that really bring, I think, a lot of drama with the line shading and cross-hatching. So cross-hatching, for anyone that doesn't know, is just line shading that crisscrosses, lines at angles angles to one another. And that's really what I'm doing to shade the tree on the right and then the brush on the left. So you can see I've used a much denser cross-hatching, a crisscross on the sort of bottom right-hand side of the tree, and then the cross-hatching is a little bit less dense, a little thinner at the top of the tree. That just gives a nice look of shading, I think a natural shading. I'm also using line shading to fill in the grass. So all these thin vertical lines all around those floral shapes that I initially set out, which are just messy circles. I did decide I needed a little bit of tape. I just wanted to have a nice clean border. So I was like, why don't I just use some washi tape for that? And if you have a little bit of washi tape, it's the perfect thing for creating nice, crisp, clean lines. As I mentioned when we were doing this in pencil, I'm using longer lines in the foreground for the grass, and as I move back towards the horizon, the grass lines get shorter and shorter until they're almost just dots up there where the tree is. I'm also going back over some of the lines to darken the grass and the meadow look in the foreground, and I'm adding some sort of leafy shapes as well. So just doing some kind of messy oval-shaped leaves among all the grass and flowers. I really want the flowers to pop out and look very white against the dark shading of the grass. And then on the other side, I start by sketching out all the little messy floral shapes, and we'll do the same thing there. Lots and lots of line shading for the grass. But why don't we do the contour drawing of our lady first? Because I'm getting tired already of all this line shading. And we're just going to go around her apron, draw in her boot, and then the top of the other boot. I want to put some flowers and grass in front of that boot. And frankly, if you don't have a white gel pen on your desk, I would grab one, because for any black and white illustration like this, it's not essential, but frankly, for cheaters like me, just kidding, it's not cheating, it's just how I'm gonna do it. It is nice to have that white gel pen for anywhere, like a black boot. We can just color the boot in black, and then we can actually draw the white grass, the grass as white on top of the boot. You know what I mean? I'm saying it not well, but let's add that washi tape on the left as we come over here and continue to fill in. I definitely think with all this crazy cross-hatching and line shading, having a clean, crisp white border is going to be essential. And aside from being a little out of my comfort zone, I would say I like the way this is coming together. I'm finishing up the grass on the left, then I'm going back in, darkening the foreground a little, adding some leaves. I'm also going to completely color in those rubber boots, and I will complete the contour drawing of the woman as well. So go over her arm, the umbrella, etc., etc. There's something about this style of illustration that is a little bit uncomfortable. It's like, am I making something pretty, or am I just making a big mess? Like, can you see flowers and trees, or can you just see like scribbles when you look at this? Anyway, it's worth trying something new. I'm putting a little bit of line shading on her apron just to show the way the apron is moving against her legs. We'll put a little shading under her arm where it hits her waist, to show that there's a little shadow line there. I'm coloring in her t-shirt, which sits under the apron, and just making sure that the grass goes right up to her body now that I actually do have her drawn in here. I think the key here, so that this doesn't look like a bunch of scribbles all mushed together, is that there is some relief. So her apron is quite light, her arms are quite light. We need to still be able to see, what is person and what is field. Also, the direction of the lines. So all the lines in the field are very vertical. Then we've used cross-hatching on the trees and brush on the horizon. So that creates a difference. Oh yeah, I'm looking at, a tree, and then up front we've got grass and flowers. I don't know, this is me telling you what I'm doing. I'm not even sure if it's working, but you can also probably hear that I have a cold again. Oh my gosh, this is just the year of colds for me. But I am on the mend, and hopefully my voice just isn't too annoying. I'm doing the same style of flower for her bouquet, because of course she's picking the flowers that are in the meadow. And then, I don't know, I got to figure out how to shade or draw her face. But you know what? Let's just procrastinate on that. Let's draw rain instead, because rain is easy to draw. I'm just doing a whole bunch of lines. So some are going to be a little longer, some shorter. They're all angled, to show that that rain is just pouring down and it's really, really raining. And I think this is a lot of fun to add the line shading. There's something very calming about doing a whole bunch of lines, and you don't have to go fast. I'm obviously speeding through it because it would be dull to watch, but just take your time. This is something you can really get lost in and enjoy the process. Hey, do you love watercolor painting, but you're struggling to find all of the necessary tools and learning materials here on YouTube, which is an entertainment platform after all? Well, good news, I've got a watercolor e-course. Actually, I have two, and they're both available on my website. I'm proud to say that these courses are priced extremely reasonably, and I've received a lot of wonderful feedback from you over the years. If you're looking to build confidence with your watercolor painting and find your own unique style, these video lessons, these e-courses are for you. Find them at shaydacampbell.com. Once you've filled the entire sky with the line shading for the rain, you can go back over certain areas if you want, make it look like it's really heavy. That's what I'm doing. I don't know if it needed that, but I was just trying it out, putting a little extra rain on the left. I'm also going to color in the umbrella, so just doing some very dense line shading there, and then let's just take off that tape. Why not? Let's see. It looks so good, right? And I think you really can tell what is rain, what is meadow, what is tree. I am going to use my white gel pen at this point to help those flowers really pop. So I'm basically going over the contour drawing that I had set out. The flowers really don't need the border that I had drawn, and I think it looks better as just like a nice big white circle with that little punch of black at the center. And those really pop off of the line shading that we've done for all the grass and leaves, and I think that really works. So grab that gel pen, finish up the meadow. You can do the same thing on our bouquet, just add that extra negative space. As I was just saying, we need that negative space so that it just doesn't look like a big mashup of scribble. And gosh, now I sort of do have to start figuring out how to do her face and the inside of the umbrella. And frankly, I'm just not sure what I'm going to do about those. So let's finish the bouquet. I'll put some dark leaves and just really some dark shading around the flowers to make the flowers in the bouquet pop. I'm going to kind of draw like the inside of the umbrella. I sort of took the handle up too high. Again, the white gel pen is like your pen eraser if you need to do any erasing. And then I just put her eyes, really some dots for the eyes. I did thin light line shading on the right hand side of her face, like a dot for the mouth, really simple. And then we're going to finish up by putting May right in the center, and then we're going to write April showers bring. And then, of course, May is in the center. And then flowers is on the right. Yeah, it's pretty cute. I used a large fine liner for the word May, and then a much smaller fine liner for the rest of the phrase, just so that it all fits. And May still has that weight, and it really pops as like the month title, if you know what I mean. Anyways, guys, this is like half the video we spent doing our cover page. It was quite the undertaking, just getting rid of all my pencil lines, but I'm happy with it. I think I have a ways to go, and I need to, practice this style of illustration, but it's fun. It's very relaxing to do a whole lot of line shading. And if you don't want to do it, you can just get the cover page on Patreon. So patrons, be sure to head over there after the video so you can print this out and paste it in your own journal. For now, what we're going to do is continue forward and try to keep it a little bit more simple from here on out. We'll do a calendar. Remember, I just draw it in pencil and then pull the pen towards my body so that I don't have to use a ruler. Pulling it towards me helps me to keep that pen steady. We'll draw our May calendar in here. I'm going to use just like a nice warm gray marker to highlight the days of the week and write May down here at the bottom. A nice way to make your brush lettering pop as well is to just take that fine liner and do a thin shadow, like just on the right hand side of each letter. And then for some reason I felt the need to like thicken the shadow. And then of course you never can make all of them the same thickness. Anyway, it got messy, but let's move on, shall we? Over here on the left, I am going to take a little piece of ripped paper, just used a bit of pink artist paper and pasted it in my journal. And then I thought, let's do another line shading illustration. I know I'm addicted. I just keep pushing myself way out of my comfort zone. Why am I doing this? I don't know. Is anybody else trying new things right now? Is anybody else getting used to a brand new haircut, a new city? Let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear about it. What I'm doing is a similar illustration, no people, no umbrellas, thank goodness. We're just going to draw kind of a garden where there's like these stones, this stone pathway, and the stones get a bit smaller as they go towards the horizon. We'll do the same kind of look with the grass and the flowers, or the flowers are in amongst the grassy meadow. And then we'll do the same sort of idea where there's brush and trees up at the horizon line. So we're kind of practicing what we just did, and this one doesn't need to be as polished. For anyone wondering, I'm going to do this illustration with a 0.5mm black liner. All of my supplies are linked in the video description as usual. It's a great way to get the same supplies that you see me using, and you can support the channel when you shop those Amazon links. So I'm starting by just going over all of the flowers. Same idea. I sort of did these roses this time where they're kind of scribbly, and then I'm surrounding the flowers with lots of vertical lines to indicate the grass of the meadow, and then there's some leaves in there as well to just make sure that everything is nice and dark and that the flowers, which are light, really pop. Although I do think I failed a little bit on this illustration, and that's when we just get into the realm of like, is it just a big scribble mess? You can't really tell what is flower and what is grass, but let's keep on moving on. I'm not starting over, will not rip page out. I did lots of scribbly scribbles for the brush on the horizon. I'm doing the contour drawings for those, big stone pathway stones, and then just doing the same thing with the grass where it gets a little bit smaller towards the horizon. You can see this one's coming together much easier, but I don't know if it was as successful. I'm not super happy with it, but you know what? Again, the journal is the perfect place for you to try things out. So if you're kind of interested in something this month, then why not? Your journal is like a safe space for you to practice whatever your heart desires. We're going to flip over and we're going to do something a little more simple, a little more colorful. I want to do a sleep tracker for Sully. So I just finished breastfeeding. If you follow me on Instagram, it's been a journey and I talked about it a little. Sullivan is turning 2 in May. Not that there's a time limit on it, but it just felt like our time for breastfeeding was at a close, and he took it really well. He did so good. So it's just been a couple days actually that he hasn't had a breastfeed, and going into the month of May, it seems like the perfect time to track how he's doing with sleep, since we were down to just that final feed to go to bed at nighttime. So now we've got a new bedtime routine, and I want to see, is he sleeping through the night? Is he waking up but settling himself, or is he, sleeping in our bed, which he does from time to time. So if you want to do this, it's a great sleep tracker, but it's also a wonderful way to track your mood, because we're going to have a key with 4 or 5 colors, and we've got the raindrops that represent each day of the month. So if you're familiar with trackers, you could really use this for all kinds of different things. All I'm doing is drawing that semicircle for the umbrella. You fill in the semicircle, the umbrella, with lots of colorful flowers, and then you surround it with 31 raindrops, 1 drop for each day of the month. And of course, under the umbrella, you can write your title. So if it's like Anna's mood tracker, you can write that in there. But if you want to track your own sleep, whether you're getting enough or you're waking up, or you want to track your mood, there's a lot of different ways you can use this. Once you've colored all those flowers in and you make it nice and pretty and colorful, you can actually just color in the entire umbrella. May I suggest a little warm gray? It's never a bad idea, always looks cute. And then I'm just finishing up, adding a little bit of shading to some of the flowers. We're going to make a nice colorful title here. I'm just writing Sully's Sleep May 2023. You should write whatever you're gonna track. And if you're still like, wait, what? I don't get how this tracker works. Once you see the key, I think it'll all be revealed. Also, if you run out of room and you have a really messy, scrunched up lettering like I did with the word sleep and May, just taking a nice fine liner and actually writing the words inside of your messy, scrunchy letters can kind of save the day, although sleep is still a bit squished, but it's fine. I also took a dark gray marker and just went over those 31 raindrops. And then all that's left to do is the key. So this is the part where you really see how the tracker works. I'm drawing 4 raindrops. One is for sleeping through the night. One is for waking up but settled himself up over an hour and slept in our bed. So 4 raindrops, 4 different colors. As the month goes along, I will color in all the drops, and at the end I'll be able to see that hopefully he mostly did light blue, which is slept through. And if you wanted to do something similar, you can lay out the key for all your different moods or what have you, whatever you want to track. That brings me to my final spread, which is a 2-page weekly layout. I've divided up my pages into sections of 3. I've just divided in pencil, and then I'm taking my fine liner, pulling the pen towards my body to keep it nice and straight, and we're just going to create a really simple weekly layout because frankly that cover page was just insane. Once you've done your division, you can just write Monday and the date, or the day of the week and the date in the center of each one. This is a great weekly layout if you are strapped for time, you just don't want to do a whole lot of extra. It also gives you a nice margin in the center to get a little bit creative and do something cute, or if you're into washi tape or stickers or a little collage, it also gives you space to do that, so you don't necessarily have to draw. What I'm going to do is, of course, just draw some flowers, keeping it really simple with kind of a cute little chamomile. I just start with a circle or oval for the center and then just do these little cute, very wonky petals surrounding that stamen. We're going to join them all together with some curving stems, and that's pretty much all there is to it. You just want to make a little arrangement in the center that looks nice. Maybe put 1 or 2 up at the top that sort of look like they don't belong. That's always cute. And if you want to, you can add a bit of color. Since these are white flowers, I guess it only makes sense for me to do a bit of warm gray. I'll also write the week that it is down here at the bottom, and we can add a little more color, and you can certainly do the stems too if you like, but I'm just trying to keep it simple. As I said, that cover page was kind of a beast. And speaking of, let's flip back and take a look at what we did. We have our beautiful cover page, lots of cross hatching, lots of line shading. We have our calendar with another attempt at a bit of shading, a really fun tracker, whether it's for sleep or mood, and then a simple and very easy to do weekly layout. Remember, friends, if you want to print my cover page, all you have to do is become a patron. It's only $2 a month or $22 for the year, and you get weekly bonus content. There's something every weekend, including a new tutorial at the start of every month. With that said, I thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon with a new tutorial.